Hi, this is Aaron with Reality Emotive Systems Theory. Today we're going to talk about the different bubbles of reality and how they interact with one another. Let's first start talking about differentiation. Differentiation is where you have one person who has their own perspective of reality and you have another person who has their own perspective of reality, but it is enlarged to the point that they can see the other person's perspective as well. Differentiation is important because you still have your own perspective without being sucked into the other person's perspective of reality. This is a very healthy therapeutic approach to be differentiated. Let's talk about two people being enmeshed with one another. This is when there's two people in the same perception of reality, in the same bubble of reality. In this situation, it's very difficult for one person to leave or open their mind to another perspective of reality because the other person is there to support their habits and their perception, which keeps that perception of reality intact. So when two people are enmeshed, it's hard for them to leave that enmeshment. Let's talk about detached. When two people are detached, they have their own perceptions of reality and they don't see the other person's perception of reality. This makes it difficult for people to get along because they're not willing to see the other person's perception. Partially seeing one another's perceptions of reality. This happens a lot where people will be like, I can kind of see where you're coming from. Yeah, I can kind of see where you're coming from too, but I still don't get the whole picture. So it's partially seeing each other's perception of reality. Let's talk a little bit about triangulation. In the therapeutic industry, they talk a lot about triangulation, but they don't always talk about all the different types of triangulation. So let's first talk about triangulation with a neutral party. Triangulation with a neutral party has three people. Two of the people they start out as detached, and they're detached from each other even in the triangulation, but they bring a third party in. This third party, they're hoping to bring that person to be enmeshed with them, but this third party stays neutral. So this third party sees each of the two other persons' perception of reality, but they don't choose one side or the other. And they don't see their own perception of reality. They're not differentiated, and because of that, they don't see the whole picture clearly. So this neutral party is being pulled to one side or the other. Triangulation with a differentiated member. This is where you have two people that are detached from one another, and of course they have their own perceptions of reality. And then there's a third party who is differentiated that sees his own perception of reality and also sees the other two people's perception of reality. This is a very healthy approach to take in couples therapy. A therapist might have a client come in, two clients come in, husband and wife, and the husband and wife don't see eye to eye. They don't see the other person's perception of reality. The therapist is there as the person that can see both people's perceptions of reality, be able to negotiate between them, but also not lose their own perception, being able to be differentiated so that they can stay therapeutic. Triangulation with two people that are enmeshed. This often happens when it starts with triangulation with a neutral party or neutral person. Then that neutral person gets sucked into one side or the other. And so now it's become two people with the same perception of reality against the other who has their own perception of reality. So this is common for couples who are looking to have somebody take their side. Maybe a couple is going through divorce and they seek out somebody, a friend or family member, that wants to support them and say, hey, I am justified in my opinions against my spouse because I want to get a divorce. And so they gather people to support them, and that these people become enmeshed with them to support them against their spouse. Now I want to show you an image of a healthy family. This family has the parents being able to be differentiated and see their children's perceptions of reality. This is a healthy situation because the parents both see one another's perceptions of reality, while at the same time being able to see their children's perceptions of reality. The children don't see the parents' perceptions of reality because they're not mature, they haven't experienced the same things, they're not in the same roles as the parents. And this is actually healthy because it creates a hierarchy where the parents can be parents and the children can be children. This is also important because the parents, they want their children to open their mind at one point when they're older and understand more. They want their children to have their parents' perspective in the future. But at the time when the children are younger, they won't always see what their parents are thinking. They won't always see their parents' perspective. So in this situation, the parents have their own perspective of reality, but they also see their children's perspective of reality. You may also notice that one of the children can see the other children's perspective of reality. This often happens when there is an older sibling. The older sibling maybe is now a teenager and they're experiencing things that the younger children aren't going through. They don't understand. There's no reason for them to understand because they haven't matured to that level yet. So this older sibling can have their own perspective of reality, but also see the perspective of their younger siblings. And this is a natural progression of children opening their mind to a larger perspective so that they can be differentiated. Now let's see an unhealthy family relationship. You have the husband and wife who are in different perceptions of reality. This causes conflict in their being parents. And you can also see that the mother has triangulated the children, two of the children, so that they are enmeshed with her, and they are most likely enmeshed with her against her husband. There's also, you can see, a child who has totally removed themselves from either parent and become detached from the family. And this is definitely an example of a family that is struggling, that has some difficulties. A lot of times this is not a typical family because most families will see that there is some overlap, that they can partially see each other's perception of reality. But this is just an example of an unhealthy family, and there's a lot of people that are detached, and there's also some enmeshment. The best thing to do to help a family overcome this is help the parents see eye to eye, help the parents become see each other's perception of reality, being enmeshed with one another. Then once the parents see eye to eye and they see each other's perceptions of reality, they won't be so distracted by each other, so now they can see their children's perceptions of reality. If you enjoyed this video, please go to our website to learn more.